President Trump is pushing back on a surplus of investigations in Washington.
Yeah, this says Democrats lay groundwork for impeachment proceedings with investigations still incomplete.
Griff Jenkins is live in Washington with more on the president's response. Good morning, Griff.
Good morning, Jillian and Rob. Here come the newly empowered House Democrats and a bunch of new investigations, expanding the Russia probe, delving into the president's finances, and raising the specter of obstruction of justice. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler says he will be issuing document requests today from more than 60 people from within the administration, the Trump Organization, and family, targeting, among others, the president's son, Donald Trump Jr., and Trump's organization CFO, Alan Weisselberg. Nadler also wasn't shy of the endgame, but says they're not there yet.
Impeachment is a long way down the road. We don't have the facts yet, but we're going to initiate proper investigations.
And Democrats believe that despite a lack of production thus far, their probes will show direct evidence of Russian collusion.
There's abundant evidence of collusion.
I think there is enormous amounts of evidence.
But the president was blasting back over Twitter, calling all of this, quote, presidential harassment by crazed Democrats at the highest level in the history of our country. Likewise, the most vicious and corrupt mainstream media that any president has ever had to endure, yet the most successful first 2 years for any president. We are winning big, the envy of the world, but just think what it could be. Now, the president's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, who we saw last week, will be back on the Hill this week behind closed doors. And finally, we still have no idea exactly when we can expect that Mueller report to be submitted or released, although we keep hearing they're getting close. Rob, Jillian?
Yes, we do keep hearing that. Thank you, Griff.
Next week, every week. All right. While Democrats ramp up their own collusion investigations, the president is trying to push forward with his agenda.
That's something House Oversight Ranking Member Jim Jordan says has allowed the president to stay successful in the face of adversity.
What I know is what the president's done is 2 years as president of the United States. The Democrats never want to talk about it. The press never seems to want to talk about this. Think about the 2 years under President Trump's leadership. Taxes reduced, regulations reduced, economy growing at an unbelievable rate, lowest unemployment in 50 years. Gorsuch and Kavanaugh on the court. We're out of the Iran deal. Embassies in Jerusalem. Hostages home from North Korea. And oh, by the way, there's a new NAFTA agreement coming. Just to name a few things. So that's what I tend to focus on, is the amazing record we've seen under the leadership of President Trump. And you guys want to talk about a lawyer that worked for him for 10 years and came in and told all kinds of lies, six lies which he said on the witness stand just last Wednesday.
The unemployment rate under President Trump hits a 49-year low just this past September.
Welcome back. President Trump's emergency declaration now facing major opposition from both sides of the aisle. 4 Republican senators say they'll follow the House and vote to block the president's order.
But what message does this send to our border agents who are fighting to protect our country from serious threats every single day? Here now to weigh in is former acting director of ICE and Fox News contributor Tom Homan. Tom, thanks for your time this morning. What's your message to those who want to block this?
You know, once again, the president's going to prove why he's a great president, and Congress is going to prove why they're broken. I mean, it's demoralizing to the men and women on the line that they know how to fix this problem, and they got a president who's trying to fix this problem, but Congress is not backing them up. You know, the whole reason there's an issue on the border to begin with is because Congress has failed to close the loopholes that causes these groups to come to the United States. Before I retired, I was with the Secretary numerous times on the Hill. Here are the 2 or 3 things you can do that's going to secure this border and stop this, you know, this surge of families and UACs coming. They failed to do it. I mean, Congress likes to point at the president's ratings. Oh, it's only 45% approval or 40% approval. I guarantee you their approval ratings are a lot less because, once again, the president's on his own and they fail to do their job.
Let's look at the 4 here that we're talking about. The 4 senators that are going to flip and probably force the president to use his veto pen. You got Rand Paul. He doesn't like the overreach. Murkowski and Collins are the moderates. And then Tom Tillis from North Carolina is worried about Democrats doing the same thing. I think all 4 are worried about Democrats doing the same thing when they have the president in power. The president on Saturday at his big speech said the Democrats are going to do this anyway. They would try something like this no matter what I do, so I might as well do it. What do you think of that?
They've already proven it. I mean, under President Obama, right? How long did he say that he could not fix the DACA situation? It's illegal. He hasn't got the authority to give people status, but he did it. and the Dems are okay with it, and he was sued over it. This president tried to end it. Then the court said, no, you can't end it, even though everybody agreed it was unconstitutional. So they've already shown they're going to do it. So it's a ridiculous argument. And again, what people need to understand is the president's failure on the border is America's failure. If the president does not get the security he needs on the border, this country is less safe. And I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, there's no downside on securing our border. It's a failure to the American people.
And by the way, none of the four of them are from border states, which is just side note for you there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for a second here, because, you know, yet again, we're seeing the attacks against ICE. And this is a tweet from her on March 2nd over the weekend. And it says, if you're mad that I think people should know when Dems vote to expand ICE powers, then be mad. ICE is a dangerous agency with zero accountability, widespread reporting of rape, abuse of power, and children dying in DHS custody. Having a D next to your name doesn't make that right. Your response?
ICE isn't dangerous. What's dangerous is you got a congresswoman that doesn't know how to tell the truth. You got a congresswoman that doesn't know facts and fiction. She said three things in that tweet. Number one, that ICE was involuntarily injecting children with antipsychotic drugs. That is just beyond the pale. It's never happened. There was an allegation that HHS did something like that, but she failed to mention those allegations were substantiated. That was an entirely different agency, under a different department. She says massive reports of rape and children dying in ICE custody. Let me make something clear. A child has never entered a family residential center and died. It's never happened. A child has never died in ICE custody, ever, in the history of the agency.
Tom, does it remind you, I mean, when I hear these arguments usually from the far left when they say things like this, it reminds me of kind of the attacks on police, where they take one or two bad stories from massive agencies and try to paint the entire agency as bad, ignoring all the great work that police and that ICE does in this country.
Excellent question. Excellent question. So let's give AOC a couple facts. Number one, ICE arrests a lot of dangerous criminals. 266,000 criminals were arrested the last 2 years. 100,000 assaults, 30,000 sexual assaults, 4,000 homicides. ICE rescued 310 women from trafficking, so they're not raping them, they're rescuing them. ICE rescued over 800 children from predators last year. They found them, they rescued them, and put them in safe hands. They rescued children, not killed them. If you look at ICE, they've arrested 3,000 predators and put them in jail. My last year's director, we took 5,000 criminals off the streets in New York. So, you know, we arrest a lot of dangerous people, and Ocasio-Cortez should be saying thank you to the men and women of ICE who defend this nation and put their lives on the line for this country every day.
Yeah.
All those stories get ignored, though. All right, Tom, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.